again, Namaste, Jai Hind, and the other film that I watched this week was the Michael biopic, and here are my good and bad thoughts on the same. So, I believe Lionsgate Films and the makers, Graham King and the others, have taken it upon themselves to, make a biopic on each and every legendary musician that ever was and is. While we all love the Bohemian Rhapsody, my thoughts are a little mixed when it comes to Michael, because I went in to watch these two films that I have been eagerly waiting for after having watched the promos, and I was quite excited. In fact, I must admit that I was much more excited for Michael as compared to The Devil Wears Prada 2. But I know it might be, it might be taken in bad taste when I say this, that I actually ended up enjoying The Devil Wears Prada 2 more than Michael. And trust me when I say this, I'm a huge MJ fan, and I wasn't expecting to say this. But, well, let's just try and discuss what I liked and what I did not like about the Michael biopic. So let me start with the good points. I loved Jaafar Jackson's portrayal of MJ. I think he literally transformed himself into Michael Jackson. Anyone and everyone who has been following Michael Jackson's on-screen and off-screen journey, I think if you have seen the film, will agree with me when I say this, that this is one of the best performances so far. And if you go by the sheer definition of what acting is supposed to be, it's a lot of people have tried to imitate and mimic MJ, but I don't know if it's because if he's related to him and he's his nephew and all that, but kudos to him, and 10 on 10, in fact 20 on 10 for his portrayal as MJ. There's a borderline, there's a very thin line in mimicking someone and actually emulating and internalizing the person. So as far as his characterization and his acting chops are concerned, I think Jaafar Jackson is right up there. You will hate his father, Big Joseph Jackson, and the actor has done a brilliant job. There's a Hindi film called The Secret Superstar. It reminded me of how much I hated the father in that movie and the trauma that he gave to his children and his wife. And every time a young 8-year-old or a 10-year-old Michael, tries to stand up for himself and urges his father to let him, lead a normal childhood just like his peers. And Joseph Jackson actually indulges in abuse. He whips him with his belt, he beats him really badly, he forces him to essentially he forces him to rehearse when he does not. And literally this could be considered as child labor. He uses his children as a vehicle to which a lot of dads still do, even in our country, across societies, and civilizations, that, frustrated fathers who have not been able to make it big in their lives thrust their own ambitions on their children. So that trauma will really get to you, So the story takes you from the early 60s till 1988, when Michael basically sort of, carries his entire family, like a flock of cattle behind him. And, everyone can see that his talent is far superior as compared to his brothers, the Jackson 5. And, how his father has completely traumatized and ruined his childhood, but at the same time, it's a two-edged sword. He's also given him this lavish life. And what I did not know, by the way, which this film reveals, is that how big a fan of the Peter Pan and Captain Hook story Michael was, and right from his very early childhood, his trauma that was given to him by his father, was so extreme that he literally, on his comic book, he literally metaphorizes and compares Captain Hook, the villain in the story, the antagonist, to Joseph. He literally writes Joseph's name, that I'm Peter Pan. And it's like when we grew up reading Harry Potter, and we had this really strict mathematics or chemistry teacher who used to cane us in boarding school, and we would call him or her Voldemort. It's like that, like if someone were to be, if a bad teacher or a bad parental figure or a guardian while you were growing up traumatized you or scarred you for life, and if he or she was the Voldemort in your life, for Michael, Joseph is his Captain Hook. So that's intense and a lot to take in. And for those of us who have experienced childhood trauma and have taken a fair bit of beating, you will resonate with it as well. Another fact that I did not know was that Michael owned so many wild animals. How the heck did he manage that? But yeah, he was a huge animal lover. We all know about Bubbles, but I didn't know he had a python, he had giraffes, multiple of them, and many others. And of course, see, now coming to the aspects that did not appeal to me as much, even though he completely recreates all the music videos, and his moves, his mannerisms, even the voice, his expressions, his dressing, the lighting. You could feel that you're in a concert, and that's something which is insane. That's crazy. But again, we've all, for those of us who have been ardent MJ fans, I could just go on YouTube and revisit the music videos. But again, on those old, oval screen-shaped Videocon televisions on which we used to watch the MJ music videos, and what could he not do? So that's something that we've already seen. I had the same problem with this biopic on Mr. Kapil Dev in the '83 World Cup, that it just felt like that, all this information we knew from the tabloids and Page 3 and, all the coverage that was given to the '83 World Cup and all the highlights, and all the cricketers were still alive when they shared all the anecdotes and the fun facts and the behind the scenes of what went down, when they had to. So the film just felt like a compilation of the highlights of the matches. And you feel the same way that, show me something that I don't know about Michael Jackson, But having said that, you can see the hard work that has been put in and the effort. It's just impeccable how they've recreated Billie Jean, the live performances, Human Nature, or for that matter, Thriller, the last bit of it, and how involved Michael was, and what a perfectionist he was. So all in all, 2 hours and 10 minutes is a runtime. I don't think that's enough to do Michael's journey and his story justice. So from what I've heard, they're planning a sequel as well, and they're working on it as we speak. So yeah, I hope to see, because there's still a lot more post 1988 till 2011 that we lose it, and again, his vitiligo. A lot of people were just literally sold a narrative that he got his skin bleached and whatnot, absurd notions. We all know vitiligo is a skin disease. It deals with pigmentation, and you just get these white patches which are not even naturally white. If you look at a naturally white person from that basically. His skin color was very pale, and you can see that it was vitiligo, and that's why he wore this glove, because it was beginning to grow. And I've personally known a lot of people in my life who have had vitiligo. Probably his was so extreme that he would disappear from public light, and then and just spread across his whole face. The only surgery that he got done was a nose job, and we all know that once you meddle with a very delicate organ like that, you have to keep redoing it. I've known again a few family members of mine who had to get their nose grafting surgery for other reasons. One of my relatives had brain tumor, and they had to cut through his nose and take the tumor out. This is before the laser technology had come into. I'm talking about the early '90s, and how they had to extract a bit of flesh from their thigh and then use the same flesh, and their nose is never the same. So that trauma also is there. Also the Pepsi commercial, when he gets burned and he has to get some steel or an iron implant in his scalp right here, and then how he gets hair weaving done. So from curls he goes straight. Probably that's that bit we're going to see where his look completely changes. In the second installment of the movie. But then again, if you're a really if you're a true, true MJ fan, this movie is definitely for you. I wouldn't say that I did not enjoy it. It's a rather enjoyable watch, but it could have done more for me. But yes, it does definitely hits the right chords. It generates a lot of empathy for Michael within you, and yeah, I think I'll be able to summate my experience in a much better fashion once the second film comes up. But for now, yeah, it's satisfactory. So I'll give it 3 out of 5 stars. Thank you.